it's never who I am, never who I am. Started on the street.
I think every song that everybody writes is somehow autobiographical. I think they're all about the person who wrote them, and they're all about the art of writing a song itself. I think it's extremely difficult to write a song without any of you coming out, and that can be in a completely ironic way. I have friends who have written big hit country songs for girls to sing, and I always hear the songs and think, I bet somebody said that to him at one point in time. He may not think that himself about somebody else, but I bet a girl told him that, or he messed up in the way that the character in his song is messing up. I think it's a mistake to try not to allow yourself into the songs, because that's part of what people want to hear, and that's part of the process.
She's a lonely thing, sweeping up the glitter while she pulls the string. So take a long last look before she turns to stone. What the last man took, what was long gone. The way it used to be, I wasn't there to see him working properly. Now it seems to me that both of you are suffering. I heard her say, you're the only reason she's alive today.
The 400 Unit is the name of the band, and that came from, there's a mental treatment facility in North Alabama where you can check yourself in, or your family can check you in, but about once a week after you've reached a certain point in your rehabilitation, they'll take you out in a van and give you a per diem and let you go around downtown on your own and find something to eat. And the first time I saw this happen, it took me a minute to figure out who they were, and once I figured, they all have badges, name tags and stuff. They say some really, really strange things, and they get really kind of confused and lost and try to figure out how to get a sandwich and get back to the van. And then first time I saw us stop for lunch, it was like, oh, now I know exactly what I'm going to call it. Usually I write my best when I first wake up. For some reason, I think it's before everything else I have to do starts finding its way into my head. Even if, it doesn't matter, I would say morning, but sometimes it's not morning at all when I wake up. Whatever would be morning for me would be my favorite time to write, and the easiest time for me to write. If you're on the road, you have to do it whenever you can. You have to take it when it comes, and whenever you've got a few minutes to sit down and work, you have to do that. But if I'm at home and I have my druthers, it'd be as soon as I woke up. It seems like the people who are here may have been more fans of my songs with the Truckers than they were with Patterson's or Cooley's, because I think what the three of us did was pretty different. A lot of the topics crossed over, and a lot stylistically it wasn't too far removed, but we all, I think, came from three separate schools of writing a song. And those people, I think they know what they're in for when they come to a show. I don't think somebody's going to come pay $10 or $15 to heckle me. Yeah. The biggest change in my life since touring with those guys is more than anything else, just the group of people I'm working with. You kind of hit the reset button sometimes because you spend so much time with those 4 or 5 people. And then when you're spending all that same amount of time with 4 or 5 different people, sometimes it can take some getting used to. Luckily for me, I knew the rest of the band beforehand, and I'd known them for years, so it was almost like falling back into some of the things that I was doing before I played with the Truckers, and that made it really comfortable, really easy to do. And I even lived with the bass player for almost 2 years. So it was pretty easy step to make on the personal front. Playing an acoustic show, I think, reminds you a lot of the fact that you're relying on the songs more than anything else, and the arrangements and the lyrics and the way the song was originally written. And because I usually write on acoustic guitar or just on piano by myself or something like that, I do definitely feel the need after a few shows like that. I feel the need to play with the full band again. It's a lot easier to be creative when you don't have to fill so many holes. You can really take your time and decide when you want to play and when you don't want to play. If you're playing in an acoustic setting, it's great because it's quite a bit more intimate, the connection you have with the fans.
Sawed her in half. A couple people cried, but most of them just laughed. Most of them just laughed. And I had a son, strong of hand and will. I taught him how to run, but never how to steal. Never how to steal. I am an orphan man, but ain't we all? I can make myself disappear. I am an orphan man, but ain't we all? Could be somewhere worse than here. I was called amazing, and I made folks believe with nothing in my pocket and nothing up my sleeve.
As far as the music press goes, it definitely hurts my feelings to see magazines that I read go out of print, or even just get smaller, you know, or even have to change the style of paper or the quality of photographs or any of those things. That always bothers me. But, you know, I think things are moving into a new medium. I like books themselves. I like to read books, and I like actually holding books. So it's a little bit sad for me to see everything go into a digital medium. But you have the opportunity to reach more people, I think. It's a trade-off. You know, music's doing the same thing, and I think the big mistake with music was when it was impossible to hang something on your wall and get stoned and stare at it. You know, then it became kind of useless to have that item at all, you know, in existence. And so when vinyl made way for cassettes and CDs, you know, that was the end of the physical product, I guess. And for print magazines, I think people just maybe get tired of the clutter. I don't know. You know, I have like stacks of magazines around my house that I'm too, I don't know, sentimental or just crazy to throw away. And as long as you can still keep putting what you've got out there and your readership can still find you, I think it's possible to make it work.